From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
All right, this one goes out to Red J, to Michael, and everyone who wanted to hear me cut through a Neve with the BCM-104. You're listening to BCM-104 through the Avalon 737. All right, so this is the same sound that I used in the last video. And those of you who suggested I try some other preamps with it, I thought that was a great idea. So let's do it. So here we'll go from the Avalon. And this is actually surprising. When you take everything out, when you just use the stock preamp in the Apollo, it's really clean. Very, very, very clean. Very neutral. Kind of clinical in a way. But that's when you break out all the other tools to color it up a little bit, to give it a little bit of character. So it doesn't sound bad. It's not really my choice, but you know what? If I had to work with this, I would. I could work with this. Wouldn't be my choice, but I could work with it. All right, so let's go from that to the Neve 88RS. So a lot of people call the Neve the Neve 88RS. They call it the Neve SSL because it's super clean. So it's pristine, tons of bandwidth, massive dynamic range. So it's really like the kind of board you would use in a broadcast situation, or maybe to record an orchestra, something you would want super, super clean, but with all the bells and whistles of a really nice console. So no EQ here. EQ is totally off, so you're just hearing the BCM-104 through the Neve 88RS. You're listening to BCM-104, all hits all summer long. So, BCM-104. All right, so let's try something new. Actually, let's go right to the SSL. So yeah, you hear there's a big difference, and the big difference has everything to do. Let's take if we take the EQ out, I'll think a better way that in. So if we take the EQ out, right? Hello, hello. Yeah, you can hear it, but there's still that SSL sparkle up top, that little bit of harmonic coloration that the SSL induces really high up top, that gives it that sound. The sound of the 80s, sound of 80s hits all summer long. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, if you ever listen to any music, especially from the 80s, those of you out there, if you've ever listened to any kind of music, especially from the 80s, you know the SSL sound. The SSL sound is the sound of the 80s. All right, all summer long. All right, so let's get rid of this. The SSL. I like the SSL on everything. I'm not sure I love it on that, though. So what else we got here? Oh, you know what we got to try? Hold on. I'm holding off the Neve until the very last. I'm milking it. So yeah, here we go. So here's the Voxbox. It's clean, but you know what? Let's dirty up. Let's increase the, let's go here. Let's go here. All right, that sounds pretty good. All right, yeah. Hello, hello. Now, this is interesting about the Voxbox. In the Voxbox, the voice that comes in, your signal goes through the compressor first. Before it hits the preamp circuit, it goes right to the compressor. So you can really help yourself out. Hold on, let's do this. Medium, fast, medium. All right, compressor in. A little bit too much, a little too slow. There we go. Hello? All right, yeah. Now that's pretty nice right there. All right, let's throw a little de-esser. Do we even need de-esser? I don't know we do. But notice the tonal difference. Here we hear, here. It's like you can feel where that notch is coming in. So let's put that right here. I don't even think we really need much. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5. Hello? 46, 47, 61, 62. All right, yeah, right here. Let's try that. And then I think we need a little touch of 100 right here. You're listening to 100 hertz all summer long. So right here, 100. Right, you can feel that. That's nice. It's a sexy sound. It really is a very smooth sound. And the thing is, you know what the difference is with the Avalon? The Avalon is like smooth, thick transients. It's got a smooth top end. And the thing with the Avalon that makes it different is you don't get that tubey grain in the high mids. But if I do this with the Voxbox, right? You start to feel that tubey grain up top. You can feel it right there. It's nice because that'll help you cut when you need it. So I like the Voxbox. It's a little bit more rock and roll. Rock and roll all summer long on BCM 104. All right, let's go from here to the API. All right. I know a lot of you are big fans of the API. I love how forward that sounds. Let's tighten up the bottom end. Hello. All right, yeah, right. Ooh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, 1, 2. It works. All right. Again, no EQ. No EQ needed. But let's switch the EQ circuit on. It doesn't really make a huge difference. I don't like it with the EQ circuit on and no EQ enabled. What if we try this? Hello? See, can you hear the difference? So with the graphic EQ, when I switch it on and off, you don't really hear a difference when the EQ circuit is on. But with this, when I do this and go here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you can feel right around there. So yeah, it does kind of, there is a difference between these two circuits and the way the EQ fits into the audio chain somehow. I don't know. But one is doing something and the other isn't. And that's all you need to know. All right, so the SSL, or not the SSL, the API. I know my letters. I can read. See, that's AP and whatever that is. So the API. A lot of people love this sound for VO, but I just don't. For me personally, it's not really my first choice. So again, I could make it work, but it wouldn't be my first choice. All right, what have we done here? All right, let's do it. Let's do the Neve 1080. The Neve 1084. All right, here we go. You wanted a Neve, you got a Neve. Neve. All right, so yeah, that is a beautiful sound. You can even go a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I'll back off a little bit. Yeah, you're listening to BCM 104. You're listening to BCM 104. All hits all summer long. All right, so yeah, here we are. And again, no EQ in, but when I switch the EQ in, right, it gets a little bit more present. And I think what's happening, actually, when you switch the EQ in, okay, hold on. This is my guess. Let me dial that back. When you switch the EQ in, right, notice how it almost feels like you are flattening out. You're flattening out the low end and the low mids by doing that. When you put that in there, something with the high end too. I'm hearing this for the first time. I know that it sounds different, but I never actually tried to figure out what it was. So hold on while I play half-ass Columbo here. All right, what do we got? So, okay. This would be my guess. And again, I'm probably wrong because I'm an idiot. But my guess is that when you switch the EQ on, even when you're not using the EQ, right? So this is modeled after the hardware. So what it's actually doing, right, is it's adding circuitry into the audio path. And that circuitry is made up of components like resistors and capacitors. So overall, I think that what's happening is somehow the impedance is you're getting rising impedance through the EQ circuit. Because when your impedance is higher, you start to flatten out that low mid. So that would be my guess. But anyway, I like it with it in. All right, I'm done talking about that. I'm probably wrong. But let's check it against the 1073. Now, I'm not a fan of the 1073. Let me just tell you, I think the 1084 sounds a lot more modern. And I think the 1073 sounds a little bit, I don't know, a little too old for me. All right? I know, that's blasphemy. Somebody's going to flame me for sure. 1073. All right? Yeah, hear that? You ever hear Neve sound boring? Doesn't that sound boring in comparison? And again, we'll switch in the EQ. And it does. It almost feels a little bit flatter in the low mids, right? But still, I kind of like it in there. I like that flatness in there. Yeah, it almost makes it more present. Yeah, right here. You're listening to the Neve 1073, no EQ on. About 60 dB a gain, all summer long. So right here. Okay, not bad. What do we need to, no, I think it's almost better here. All right, yeah. Yeah, whatever. We don't need to have that. We don't need to have that filter. We don't need filters here. But you hear what I'm saying? Let's go back to the 1084. This is freaking me out. Back again. 60 dB. Doesn't that sound more exciting? Doesn't that sound a little bit more interesting? I like that a lot. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. So I know this is a great sound. If you were doing like podcasting or audiobooks, I could totally see using this sound. But check this out. This is what I love about the Neve. All right, so do this. So first, roll this back to about 10. So dial this up to 75 and dial this down. All right, so what I'm going to do. So listen to this. Listen to how intimate and immediate this sounds. Now, I'm barely talking above a whisper. I'm talking in a very, very low voice. But it sounds very immediate, and it sounds kind of intense. And that's what I love about the Neve. Yeah, right here. It's almost like you're hearing the thoughts in my mind. In another dimension, in another time, the thoughts coming from my mind here in the Twilight Zone. So right here, I feel like you got this nice texture right on your voice. And it's kind of it almost makes you feel, I don't know, paranoid. Doesn't it kind of feel like it would drive you crazy? The voice in your head. That's what this is. This is the voice in your head. And so if you're using it for an audiobook, for inner dialogue, because I sound like a serial killer, right here, Dear Diary, sometimes I do bad things, and sometimes I do really bad things, and sometimes I do really, really bad things, and they're bad. And sometimes I do the laundry. But yeah, here I am, talking to you in this intimate voice. And then you can go back right here and listen to that. So you get a much less threatening tone like this when you're using it here at Unity Gain and 60 dB. So yeah, there's a lot you can do here. I think narratively speaking, the Neve 1084 really does have something. It does have something to it that really feels right. I like it a lot. You know, I should do audiobooks again. So yeah. So you're listening to the BCM-104 and the Neve 1084. What do you think? All right, so let's wrap this up. We went through a lot of different preamps tonight, right? Didn't we? Which one did you like? Which one did you think sucked? I need to know. I really need to know, because it helps me better understand what I'm hearing in my own head, which, if you haven't noticed, is a little intense. So anyway, I need to know what you're thinking. So leave a comment. All right, until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov on the BCM 104 all summer long, fading to black.